What is going on, everybody? My name is Ciara Lawler. Welcome to another week of Hero or Zero. This is the Heroes for Hire podcast. We are back again talking one comic book character, as we do every single week. We talk their good points and their bad points, and we just generally give you a bit of a rundown of everything to do with that character. As always, I am joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Shaun Jamieson. Shaun, how is it going?
I'm good, Conor. It's Friday night. I'm enjoying a crisp glass of water today.
Like plain water, you're not a lunatic.
Oh, just some flat water. If anything, I opened the water, I left it out to let it go flatter.
I was just thinking, because we had a discussion earlier on about carbonated water, and we discussed that was the work of the devil.
That was absolute sin in a bottle, is how we described it, I think.
Do you know who loved carbonated water? Hitler. I don't know if everyone knows that, but that's true.
If you really dive into Mein Kampf, it's all about carbonated water.
It's in between the lines. You have to really get in there. But Shaun, this is Hero Zero. What a weird start. This is Hero Zero, where we talk one comic book character. Normally you do Marvel and I do DC. And so this week is my week. We don't have to listen to one of your nonsense pieces of drivel.
I just want a bit of respect every now and again, okay?
Sometimes you do good reports.
Oh.
Few and far between, if you ask me. But it's a little bit of a shit sandwich, isn't it?
It is. But look, there's some delicious caramel in the middle of that shit sandwich, so I'm fairly happy.
Even then, a shit sandwich wouldn't taste nice no matter how much caramel is in it. No,
shit is always worse than caramel is good.
It's a stronger flavour. I'd say. This is the weirdest episode of Bake Off.
The worst thing. Paul Hollywood is giving a handshake. Ooh.
He's like, you put too much shit in there.
But you know what? You gave it a good go.
So we're going to start the Hero Zero report, Shaun. And this week I'm going to be doing a character that has since had gotten her own show in like the whole Arrowverse world.
Oh.
And that is Stargirl, Miss Courtney Whitmore. What do you know of Stargirl?
I know very little about Stargirl. All I know is that I used to work in like a toy shop, and there were little Lego figures of DC characters, and Stargirl was one of them. And all the kids called her Lady Captain America.
Well, you know what? Actually, I can see that. But what's interesting about Stargirl is she's not the first star person. Because there was a star man before her, several star men, and
David Bowie.
Well, David was around, yeah, but then like several other guys in comic book form.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, jeez. And they were heroes. You know what I mean? So
so you're saying the character went through several changes?
I'm moving on. Right? This report's going to take forever. So this character, Courtney Elizabeth Whitmore, Miss Stargirl, was created by Jeff Johns and Lee Moder.
Okay, Jeff Johns of Green Lantern fame.
Jeff Johns of Green Lantern fame. So Jeff Johns has gotten a lot more famous these days. But Stargirl was created by him. He's said to have based her personality on that of his sister, who actually tragically passed away in a flight. Right? So he designed the character to be very similar to his sister. So it kind of has that really cool root, just as the creation of the character.
Yeah, that's a nice way of honouring someone.
So, Stargirl was first appeared in 1999 in February. And to understand the history of Stargirl, we kind of have to look back on the Starman legacy, so you understand why she's so powerful and what everything that's going on. So, it began with a guy called Ted Knight, and he was the first Starman, and he appeared in Adventure Comics 61, back in 1941, I think it was.
Okay.
And Ted basically was Bruce Wayne, but he was like a playboy who was rich, and then on the side he was a superhero. Because as most characters were back then.
Yeah, because that was the only way they could write someone being a vigilante, is like, oh, they have all the means and power to do it. An ordinary citizen couldn't do this.
So Ted was a brilliant astronomer, and engineer, and it was through these talents that allowed Ted to isolate a unique form of cosmic energy generated by starlight.
I like where this is going, Conor.
Yes! Because it's the 40s, so he's able to just, isolate cosmic energy and stick it into something.
Harness some fucking light and make power from it.
Yeah, basically. He created a solar panel and he stuck it on his back, and now he's fucking really fast running down the road. But he created this and he put it through a device called the gravity rod. And he adopted the Starman name and used the powers granted to him by the gravity rod to fight everyone's enemies in 1941 in comic books, Nazi saboteurs.
Oh, where would comics books be if not for Nazi saboteurs?
Especially because he's Starman, so he's covered in America, like he's got the stars and he's in blue, so it's like an American flag. He's Captain America of the DC world.
Beautiful. I love it. Very patriotic.
Yeah.
Very of the time.
Now, where it's kind of a mixture of Bruce Wayne and Captain America is that Ted found an heir apparent in the form of a man called Sylvester Pemberton. And he was an acrobatic boy wonder. Shaun.
Okay. Right. What, now, were his parents killed in some kind of trapeze incident?
I don't think it's ever mentioned, but he's just an acrobatic
so he just
boy
kidnaps
wonder.
a child. Perfect.
Yeah, look, he takes him off the street, puts a bag over his head, throws him in the van. And so he's an acrobatic boy wonder known as the Star-Spangled Kid.
Right. Okay. That is shockingly like that could have been what they called Bucky Barnes in the comics back in the day, the Star-Spangled Kid.
And what's actually interesting about Sylvester is that he was a spoiled rich kid who snuck out at night to fight crime with his parents, being none the wiser, Shaun.
So he has parents?
He does have parents, yeah. He's just a bit of a shithouse.
He's just a dickhead. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, and he was out solving crime, Shaun. And Pemberton was unique among the kid superheroes of the day because he was the star of his book, and he actually had an adult sidekick called Pat Stripesy Duggan.
Did his parents name him Stripesy? Wait,
no.
The adult sidekick?
Yeah, the adult is the sidekick and the kid is the main hero.
How does that power dynamic work in the comics?
It was the 40s, Shaun. It was a different time.
It's when children had views, of course.
We've beaten out of them since. No more. But, no, it was a unique comic book and it sold a lot because a lot of kids are kind of like, oh, that's me. Wow, I'm the main hero, and like, wouldn't it be cool if an adult listened to me? It goes along those lines. And so Pat Stripesy Duggan was the Pemberton family. He drove the limousine, basically, and he gets dragged in to be the sidekick of the kid. They both later joined the Justice Society of America, which is what we've talked about. The JSA is the Justice League before the Justice League existed.
Yeah, it's like the model that the Justice League kind of based themselves around. Yeah,
and so the JSA is actually still around in comic books, but back in the 40s, that was the Justice League. So if you were part of that, you were part of the main team. And Pemberton briefly wielded the gravity rod when Starman was incapacitated. So Pemberton actually got given it, and he's like, you're not the Star-Spangled Kid, you're the Starman now, you're the main man. He said Starman as in like, you're literally Starman and you're the Starman.
You are a man now. Are you ready to take a life?
I brought your parents here. We're going to start with them. See how you feel.
Let's see how you spangle these stars.
It's just like really sinister. It's really fucked. So the two later worked on refining the gravity rod technology, and this is him and Stripesy Duggan. Now remember Stripesy Duggan because he's going to come in big later on.
Oh, classic Stripesy.
Stripesy, right? So him and Stripesy are working on improving the gravity rod because they've gotten it from Ted, the old user, and they're like, we can make this better. And they fit it into a wearable device, the Cosmic Converter Belt, to better suit Pemberton's gymnastic fighting style.
Of course, he needs to be able to do flips.
He needs to do flips, and he can't do it if he's carrying a rod around, so he puts it in a little belt form, and he puts... you know how it is when you want to transfer the power of a star from a rod to a belt? It's as easy as that.
It's as simple as 1-2 belts.
And so, Pemberton went on to adopt the name Skyman, and he established a superhero team, Infinity Inc. But he actually died later on by Solomon Grundy, so not a great time. But where Stargirl comes in, I set all that up because I wanted to... Where she's coming in is later on. This is in the 40s, and Stargirl does not come into the comic books until 1999.
Fuck me, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I've heard of like a delayed reaction, but is this that they just forgot about the character, and then in about the late 90s they were just like, we need some new comics that we can write?
See, it's interesting because the people in the JSA actually were seen to get older, and they all got slightly older, but some of them, I think there was a weird story where like some of them were thrown forward in time, so they were younger than they should have been by like 30 years.
Oh, right, okay.
In the preceding years. So it's just been a whole host of members of the JSA just going through troubles, and then some of them were thrown forward in time, including Stripesy Duggan. And so Stripesy's still around, right? And so the belt, I should say, the Cosmic Converter belt, it basically gives you enhanced strength, enhanced agility, enhanced speed, enhanced stamina, shooting stars, which are light forms that disrupt electric devices and organic nervous systems.
Oh, that's a horrible concept.
Yeah, you could just turn off someone's brain, I suppose.
Yeah, just make all of the like muscles in their body contract at once. That's fine.
You know how it is. He's a star-spangled kid.
Oh, of course, all those stars.
So, Courtney Whitmore first appeared in Stars and Stripe Zero in July of 1999. Born and raised in Beverly Hills, California, Courtney was tragically forced to move across the country to Blue Valley, Nebraska, a small town whose only claim to fame was it being the birthplace of Mr. Wally West, one of the Flashes. Yeah, I was going to say one of the Flashes, but yeah, the Flash, we'll say.
We can call him the Flash.
Yeah, and this was due to her mother remarrying a mechanic. So her mother is at a breaking up with her father, and she remarries a man called Pat Duggan.
Pat Duggan?
Pat Duggan.
Could that be the spotted man?
You were trying hard.
I was furiously trying to think of a way to fuck up Stripesy.
What's the opposite of Stripesy? So Stripesy is like, I don't know, probably 50. He should be like 90, but true time force, he's about 50. And he remarries Courtney's mother. And the two of them decide they'd much rather raise their children from their respective first marriages in a small town. Now, naturally, the kids weren't consulted on this choice, and the only thing Courtney and her stepbrother Mike ever agreed on was that moving to Nebraska was an absolutely terrible fucking idea.
It was a fucking shit show and our parents are dumb.
Yeah, basically. So they move to Nebraska, and Courtney is bull-tick. She does not like Pat. She thinks Pat is a dickhead for making her do all this. And while unpacking a few boxes, Courtney stumbles across a box containing some of Pat Duggan's mementos from his time as Stripesy, including the original Star-Spangled Kid costume and the Cosmic Converter belt.
Just leave that lying around. That's okay.
You know how it is. Yeah, sure, it's just the power of a star. It's not going to fall into the wrong hands.
Oh, absolutely not. It's just going to lie in the chest, safe forever, and never be touched again.
Courtney, could you open that box, please? Unpack it there now. I'm sitting here looking at stars. And so, realising her stepdad used to be Stripesy, the only adult psychic to a teen hero in history, had filled her with joy, as she now had a new means to get back at him and ridicule him.
What a shitbird.
Because she's like, oh, you're the only adult psychic. What are you? You're a loser. He was a kid.
He was a child and you were an adult and you drove him around and helped him.
So Courtney modified the costume. And because over the week there was going to be a patriotism themed school dance. And so she decided that she'd wear the costume to the school dance as a means of mocking Pat, who was at the dance acting as a chaperone.
Fuck's sake. But that's just like, hey, remember your friend who died? I'm wearing their suit.
He's dead!
And you're a
I'm
loser.
The hero. So Pat is acting as the chaperone, and Courtney turns up and she's dressed in the old outfit as a kind of last fuck you, I know what your secret is, you're the only sidekick, haha. The dance was then attacked by weird cultists in snake-themed costumes, Shaun, which are just bad guys that they have to beat.
What's the bad guy's agenda here? Sorry?
They're just snake-themed. You know how it is. You know how
snakes.
snake-themed... Yeah, snakes hate dances. Everyone knows that.
The Garden of Eden. They wanted to dance, and there was a snake that said "fuck
There
off."
was a few pieces of apple juice on the table at the dance. I can only assume.
Oh, someone spiked that apple juice with a knife.
Oh no, my apple juice has knives in it. Not again. Put it back in the pot.
Put it back in the apple.
So this dance was attacked by the weird cultists, and so Courtney, in her moment of need, she leaps into action to protect her classmates. And she was surprised when she was joined by a giant robot in defending the crowd.
Was this mentioned before that someone had access to a giant robot?
It turned out, Shaun, that Pat had been thinking of getting back into the superhero game. And had built a suit of Iron Man style armour, the Special Tactics Robotic Integrated Power Enhancer, or Stripe for short.
He's really latched onto this nickname that he got in school.
Look, he got a nickname when he was 10 and he's sticking to it.
So he's only wearing pinstripe suits these days, and then other striped clothing.
This led to the stepfather and stepdaughter reaching a bargain as they realised they had stumbled across a mystery in need of exploring. They would work together and continue to hide what they were doing from the rest of the family, with Pat playing protector to another teenager wanting to play a superhero, and they would be called the Star Spangled Kid and Stripe.
Okay. Would they not just go with Stars and Stripes?
Look.
I don't mean to call anyone's creative integrity into question, but I just think in terms of branding and for things you can write on top of a comic.
The comic was called Stars and Stripe.
Okay, well that's quite a good call on the editor's part.
Just because I followed your advice.
Look, I don't mean to say that I've done anything ever, but I did everything ever.
Yeah, Jeff Johns, listen to me. But
don't worry about it, Jeff. This one's on me.
I've got this one, Jeff. Just take a seat. I'll continue writing. But so she's a Star Spangled Kid, and he's Stripe. And do you remember an old show? Not an old show, like probably like 15 years ago, and it was called The Big Guy and Rusty. Do you remember that show?
No, not at all.
It was like a little robot and a big robot were fighting, and I think it's along those same lines. It works well in comic books when you have like a big robot and like a smaller character with them, just in terms of like Groot and Rocket. It's just good optical. It's just how it looks on the page is really nice.
I'm looking this up. I've never seen this before. This looks unreal.
Yeah. That's such a shout out of the most random thing that I just thought of when I thought of Stripe. But so the attack on the high school. So they decided they were going to work together as the Star Spangled Kid and Stripe again. And the attack on the high school, however, caught the attention of one Oracle, who clued Robin in on the new legacy hero. Though they had little to go on, the Young Justice team travelled to Nebraska to investigate. Their initial meeting was not smooth, as they kept thinking that the Stripe armour was a robot, and they just kept badmouthing it, even though little Pat was inside the robot.
Oh no, poor little Pat.
Pat made it himself, and he's like, "Oh."
Pat was out in the shed for weeks making that.
But in the end, Courtney and the Young Justice team solved another mystery together, and they were like, We'd like you on the team. Like, you're the hottest new thing in superheroes kind of shit. And so Courtney ultimately did not join the team as she felt that she wasn't ready for the opportunity just yet. She was only just starting.
That's quite like it's quite an acknowledgement of her own abilities at that time. That's like quite a grown up decision to make.
And so in Blue Valley, this is the name of the college, most of her adventures involved Dragon King and his daughter, Cindy Berman. Now, Cindy was the most popular girl in school, Shaun, and as evil as her father. And she adopted the name Shiv and became Courtney's arch nemesis. So there was lots of issues in between of Courtney fighting the most popular girl in school as she's like the evil person and Courtney's like the superhero who's not very cool. It's that.
So they're polar opposite. I see.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah, you can see where the story originates from, but that went on for a long time. And after I don't know how many issues there were, but eventually they were like, okay, we need to change it up. And the JSA came calling, and they actually asked for Stars and Stripes to rejoin the team. So the new Stripesy from back in the day, and they were like, Stripes has a new sidekick, let's bring her in. So Stars and Stripes joined the JSA.
Oh, like officially as official members. So
yeah, as official members.
Is Stripes then one of the few people who have joined twice?
Yeah, I suppose you never really lose the membership. Maybe it's because, like, I retired.
Yeah, he's not in active service or something like that.
Then he comes out of retirement, so he automatically gets his membership back. And then it's just like, I'm bringing her with me. She's good. She's young, but she's good and she's learning. Now, the team already had a star man, so that's why she was the Star Spangled Kid. And she's only 16 at this point, so she's still very young. When Jack Knight retired, Jack Knight is Ted Knight. Remember the first Starman? I think that's his
Teddy.
son.
Okay.
Big Teddy. So Jack is his son. He was Starman. But he's also really old now, since it's been since around the 40s. And he knew who to pass his cosmic staff down to. He had previously met Courtney and was impressed by how she managed during a worldwide attack at one point. She had previously wielded the staff then just when he was down. And so, as Knight departed to raise his son, he left the mighty weapon and the legacy of Starman to her. And it took a while. Courtney actually said no at the start. She was like, I'm not ready still. And after a few more months, she decided that she would drop her alias as the Star Spangled Kid and officially become Stargirl.
Right, and man, she seems really unwilling to take, not unwilling, but nervous nearly about taking up the mantle. That's not something you'd often see in a teen superhero.
No, I think, but what really helps is that she has, I'm going to say the word, she has Stripesy with her. Now that sentence sounds dumb, but it's comic books, it's all dumb. What I mean is she has him looking after her. So when he's like, I think you're ready, and she's like, maybe another tiny bit. Or maybe he's thinking, maybe another few months and you will be ready. And she's kind of listening to that advice. Whatever it is, I think he kind of keeps her grounded.
As a father, you're grounded, you can't go out to your friends.
Very similar. You're not allowed to save people now. They're all going to die. But Dad!
No, it's on both of us now.
So Courtney becomes a frequent and relied upon member of the JSA. And during her time with the team, she even gains a little sister in Patricia Duggan. So during all this, she's still working with Stripes, but I think he's kind of taking more and more of a step back. Because now he has a new daughter that he's had with her mother, and so she's at home with the newborn, and he has this 16-year-old daughter that he's currently very close to, but you're kind of ready to go out into the superhero world yourself, and I kind of need to be at home. So he kind of takes more of a step back, and he becomes a part-time member, so she kind of goes off on her own at this point. And Courtney only sporadically saw her biological father, who was Sam Curtis. And when she did, it was rarely positive. So this is her actual biological father.
Right, okay. And not a good relationship there.
No, because he was a low-level goon working for the Royal Flush Gang, Shaun.
My God.
The
Royal Flush Gang?
By the way, the Royal Flush Gang is a gang from Batman Beyond who I love the name of. Is that not the coolest fucking group name you've ever heard?
Absolutely. And is the leader the king, and then there's the queen?
Yes, it's all... Yeah, in Batman Beyond, one's dressed as a king, one's dressed as a queen, and then they have Ace, who's the most powerful one. I think it's 10 Jack, Queen, King, Ace. And there's 5 of them.
Fucking class.
Yeah, it's just really cool. But so he's working as a goon for the Royal Flush Gang, and she breaks all ties with him for good, and she actually starts acknowledging Pat as her real father. which is kind of a massive character change that, like, this all started because she hated Pat, and now through all of this she's like, no, Pat, you're my real dad.
That actual development in that relationship, that's nice to see.
Yeah. Weirdly, she also briefly dated the fellow JSA member Captain Marvel, or Shazam, I should say, in the DC world, who, in his secret identity of Billy Batson, is the same age as she is, but to outsiders, however, Captain Marvel is like 27, and he's dating a 16-year-old.
But they're technically the same age, so it's technically fine.
Let's not use technically fine again, Sean, but it is, see, it's technically fine for them, or in Shazam's head, he's 16. So she's 16 and he wants to date her, and she fancies Captain Marvel or whatever. But it's the fact that from the outside world, everyone else in the JSA is kind of like, he's 27. Like, 'cause they don't know that he's 16. They don't know his secret identity.
And does she know?
I don't think she knows either, no.
My God, what a mess.
And so Jay Garrick, who's the first Flash, he confronts them, and he basically makes sure that Captain Marvel leaves the JSA and Courtney instead of revealing his secret to the team. So his choice was either reveal his secret or leave the team, and so he leaves the team.
Okay, well, and they also are not together anymore after that?
No, not so much. I think her and Atom Smasher. Is it Atom Smasher? Yeah, I think it's Atom Smasher. She's normally romantically linked to him, but I think it's comic book, so it's either on again or off again. You know how it is. So when other members of the Justice Society were displaced to Earth 2 during the crisis, Whitmore, along with teammates Mr. Terrific and Dr. Midnight, remained. And they kind of forced the Justice Society to disband at this point, because everybody had kind of been sent off to a different universe.
That will tend to break up the party a little bit.
We've kind of lost everybody. And during this break, she began attending college. She changed her equipment. Her rod was compressed to a small cylinder, and when she activated, her costume and a belt appeared, while the rod grew to full size. So she made it. She's always tinkering with it as well. So she made sure that the rod could be shortened. So it was a tiny little tube or a cylinder. So when she clicked the right button or whatever, it would explode up into the rod and she would become Stargirl.
That's a dramatic entrance.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Flash. He has the suit in his ring.
Yeah, and just like always ready to go.
So while she's in college and she's organised all this, she's growing as a character constantly. But all of the characters that were transported to Earth 2, Sean, you'll never guess what happened.
What happened?
They all got transferred back.
Holy shit.
And so Green Lantern, Flash and Wildcat reformed the JSA, and Stargirl was inducted. And she used this time, she was kind of brought in, she's still only very young, but she's kind of seen as like an experienced member now because she's been there for years. But the team encountered drama within because, I mean, there's just a whole bunch of random people all back who are all in a different universe and have all come back, and they split up due to differences between the old guard and the new. And so it splits up into the JSA and the JSA All-Stars as two rival groups.
Oh, right, so they're actually like, we can do it better than you.
Yeah, and Courtney decided to join the JSA All-Stars. However, she expresses regret in being assigned to this group, as they are all much older than her and feels more at home with the other team. Power Girl, who is on the All-Stars team, tells her that she needed her on the team because the others actually look up to her. And she's seen as kind of a leader within the group, which is amazing to think of where she started, that all these grown adults now look to her for leadership.
Yeah, like you're the standard by which they set themselves.
I will say that this is all pre-New 52. And so when the New 52 came in, they redid it all in regards to her storyline. The New 52 came in just at that point that the JSA All-Stars and the JSA were kind of working. And within that, they changed her backstory that I think she still found the belt and the staff and everything, but she didn't go to school. I think she went to like stop crime, like immediately. She put it on, she was like, oh, I'm a superhero. fuck, I go stop a robbery. And
fucking gap year.
yeah, and she gets seen on a camera, because everyone has a phone on them these days, and she becomes immediately an instant celebrity, because it's just like, who is this Stargirl flying around? What the hell is going on? And she finds out that she's now incredibly famous, and she's actually chosen by Amanda Waller to join the Justice League of America in the New 52, and Amanda Waller chooses her as the public face for the PR campaign, because it's like, oh, butter wouldn't melt, like, blonde hair, blue eyes, oh, GLA, we're all so good.
She reminds me very much of Starlight from The Boys in a lot of ways.
Yes, actually, that's a really good reference, yeah. That's kind of who she looks like, I would say.
Right, okay, and it is that butter wouldn't melt. Very popular, like a very safe public image of a superhero.
Yeah, but she obviously is not like that. Very similar to Starlight in that she doesn't believe in that behind the scenes. But Amanda Waller is obviously going to try and do some shady shit to get her the PR up.
Oh, absolutely. That's classic Amanda Waller move.
Now, one of my favourite members, that's kind of the end of the main report, just because in the New 52, I didn't want to get too involved in that. I just wanted to show how different it was, just as an origin story. But probably my favourite use of Starlight, it's only a small role that she has in it, is in the Justice League Unlimited episode, and it's called Patriot Act. And I've talked about this before in the show, but if I would recommend going to watch this 20-minute episode, I don't know what it is, it's probably, you can get it on Daily Motion, I would assume, but she appears in a main role in this episode, and she's not really a main character in the rest of the series, but in this one she is, and that's because Superman is having a parade in Metropolis based on him.
Classic
and everyone's
Superman.
like, oh, Superman, everyone's like, Superman, you know, he's a cocky little shit. And, however, he's actually in another galaxy, and he won't be able to appear in the parade. He's on like another mission. And so instead, the Justice League send Stargirl and Stripe, they send Green Arrow, Vigilante, and the Shining Knight, who are kind of like all B-list other than Green Arrow, members of the team, to kind of take his place. And Stargirl is obviously there because it's Stars and Stripes, it's an American parade kind of thing. And she even uses her cosmic converter belt to create fireworks within the parade and everything, so it's all wow, isn't this amazing? General Wade Eiling he's one of the bad guys, and he takes a bunch of stuff that he hates supers, right? His whole thing is he absolutely hates superheroes, and he thinks that they're bad, and anyone with superpowers is like an alien and a freak. And to counteract this, he's like, I'll fight them myself. And so he injects himself with a bunch of shit, like a bunch of venom, and he becomes this weird fucking monster thing, and then he's like, I'm gonna go kill Superman, because he's the head of the supers, and if I kill him, then there'll be no supers left, and he's like the head alien. So he turns up at the parade, and he's ready to just wreak havoc, and he attacks everybody, and he's kicking the shit out of like everyone there, and Starlight is Stargirl, I should say, Stargirl is fighting him off, and she's using the staff and everything, and they're all kind of working together. And at the end of it, you find out that all of them there, because she says her power comes from the staff that she's using. And at the end of it, he's like, oh, you're all freaks, you're all superheroes. And at the end of it, you find out they say, well, you're the only one with superpowers here. And like, because he was killing everybody, like everyone's within like an inch of their life, bloodied and in bits, and he's about to kill one of them, and then someone's just like, you're the only one with superpowers here, everyone else is just kind of a vigilante. Like Green Arrow is there like, I don't have any fucking powers,
I just have a bow and arrow.
And Stripe is there, and he's just fucking a guy in a suit. He's just like, I'm just Stripesy in a big robot suit.
That's amazing.
So I would recommend watching that episode. It's like one of the best episodes of Justice League Unlimited, I think, just in terms of how cleverly written it is. And Stargirl is in that, and she makes a big appearance in that show. And that, you kind of get a vibe of her personality from that as well. So in terms of powers and abilities, she's got gymnastics, kickboxing, hand-to-hand combat. Her equipment obviously is the Cosmic Converter Belt, which gives her enhanced agility, durability, speed, stamina and strength. So she's not like overpowered, but she's like a lot higher than a normal human.
Okay, but like peak physical kind of thing.
Oh, she's peak physical before the enhancement, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Very good. Standard
She also
procedure.
has the Star Rocket Racer, which Pat Duggan provided her with a car for her birthday. Although Courtney has yet to realise that the car is actually a modified version of the original Star Rocket Racer once used by Mr. Sylvester Pemberton. So Pat is kind of like remaking shit that he did back then to kind of give to her and pass it on. She has flight and she has energy projection.
Those are just two powers that you've just thrown out there, Conor, but like that is major power level right there.
Yeah,
right?
I would say like enhanced stamina isn't as cool as energy projection and flight because she has the power of a star in her staff.
Does it ever run out, that power?
I don't think it does, no.
Right.
Unless there's probably a storyline where it gets snapped in half or something. And you're like, oh no, I've got no powers. But in terms of actually running out of juice, I don't think so.
Okay, that's really cool. She is a very well-rounded comic book character. And I like how she went from kind of a teen who was just out to cause trouble to someone who's genuinely trying their best to help people.
Yeah, and she's probably one of those characters that you see the growth in the comic books. Now, this is before the New 52, but even in the New 52, she's had some really interesting stories as well. But just in terms of her, where she started, and how they got her to the point of, like, she's now part of the JSA. She's one of the youngest members, but she's also seen as a leader. Like, they don't get that unless those people step up repeatedly throughout every single storyline.
Yeah. And in terms of, like, the show, does it follow no, I don't know if you've watched it or not, but would it follow the like origin close enough, do you think?
I think I have not seen it, but from everything I've seen, I think it does. I think it follows it pretty close. I can't tell for sure which origin they choose, but I feel like it's important to just get her personality across, that she's very smart and she's very witty. She reminds me slightly of, like, she's a badass, but she'll, like, tell you... It's very similar to Spider-Man, in that she'll be, like, telling you, oh, wow, you're not very strong, while she's beating you up.
Okay, so wisecracking and lighthearted about the whole crime-fighting biz.
Yeah, but she's also very good at it, which is why she keeps getting promoted, I can only assume.
Yeah, and why adults are looking up to her when she's a teenager.
Well, I mean, Oracle was immediately onto it. The minute it happened in the high school, Oracle was in. So Oracle wouldn't normally choose somebody who was kind of iffy on the whole thing. Like, she's probably scouted her out for quite a while.
Yeah, keeping an eye on these things. And also, Stripesy behind you. You're unstoppable.
Stripesy, big robot.
Big robot Stripesy.
Yeah, so she's able to... The cosmic rod allows her to fly, as well as absorb energy, which she can then project into a variety of uses, such as blasts and force fields. And because the rod is attuned to her, it could receive mental commands from a distance even.
Right. Now, in terms of mental commands, is that like
Fire.
Jedi come towards me kind of deal?
No, like if it's over there, she can tell it to fire into, like, the back of the bad guy.
Oh, fuck. So if someone takes it off her, she can actually wreck their shit.
Yeah, even then, it doesn't really matter. So, like, she's got a mixture of, like, just enhanced classic Captain America, enhanced everything, and then she also has, like, the power of a star object as well.
It's pretty OP, I'm going to be honest, dude.
It's pretty cool.
The sun is a star.
That's true. She has the power of the sun.
That's unreal. I did not know that much about this character, but she's really cool.
So that's it for this week's report, Shaun. Do you want to take us out?
I will indeed, Conor. Thank you, everyone, for listening to, if I must say, a wonderful report on Star.
Wonderful! It almost sounds bad when you say wonderful. At the end of your one, I go, are you done?
Are you done? That was shit.
But that's just personalities, you know what I mean? You're nice.
We're the original odd couple. I'm perfectly fine to him, and he's awful to me.
No comment. But he's not smart enough to understand them.
Oh no, thank you everyone for listening to this episode of Hero or Zero. We will be back on Monday with Movie Mondays, Wednesday with Weird News Wednesday, and next Friday with another episode of Hero or Zero. Big thanks goes out to everyone who supports us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Heroes for Hire podcast. Link in the description to that if you're interested. We upload movie commentaries and things, not commentaries, reviews over there. It's a lot of fun. So if you're interested in that, hop on over. Also in the description, all the links to all of our socials, the Facebook group, which is a lot of fun, people chatting in there. The Twitter at Heroes for Hire Pod, the 4 is the number 4, and the Instagram Heroes for Hire podcast as well. But most importantly, just tell one human being that we exist.
Just the one, please.
Thank you, and I think that is it. Conor.
I think so. So I've been Conor Lawler.
I've been Shaun Jamieson.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.